Seventh graders, Miss Garza here. Sorry I wasn't able to be with you yesterday, but I wanted to go ahead and make sure that you had an opportunity to check your answers and also make sure you understand the triangle inequality theorem from the video. So today you're going to be checking your work. So if you take out this paper, maybe have the sub pause the video right now so that way you can get out this paper and we'll go from there. All right, so here are the answers. Remember the triangle sum theorem was that the angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. And so we could write equations to find that missing value. And then just making sure that you pay attention to what it's asking you to find. So find the value of x. That's all you needed for numbers 1 through 4. But watch out for 5 and 6 because it said find the measure of angle A. Now, we didn't get a chance to talk about this, but some of you are like, wait, it doesn't make sense that I got a negative number. And normally you'd be right? It doesn't make sense. Like here, if the x here was a negative number, that would make sense because we can't have a negative measurement, right? But because in number 5, x is part of an expression to find the angle measure, we can do that, okay? So when I plug in -7, I get out a positive 45. So it's always good to be aware of that. All right, when you guys are done checking, if you need to, again, like I said, pause the video to check your answers. All right, and then yesterday you had a video, hopefully that was able to play and watch. But it was just someone showing you, like with spaghetti pieces, that if the longest side is longer than the two other ones combined, there's going to be this gap, and it's not going to reach. But if the two sides are equal to the other sides, if the longest side was equal to the other two sides, it's just going to fall flat and make a straight line. And so the shortcut was to do this, was that, okay, well, if we find the two shorter sides and add them together, if they're greater than the largest side, it can make a triangle. So here's what you guys need to do. When you go to approach this, let's first take a look at the lengths. It's not just the first two numbers that were given to us. Let's go ahead and go through and highlight or circle the biggest number in these side lengths, okay? All right, so we have 21. The possible longest one here is 25. The longest side here is 13. Doesn't matter which one here. And 17. All right, so the reason that that's important is because that's what our rule is saying, is that when we take the two shorter sides, we have to add the two shorter sides together, and they have to be greater than the largest. So I need to add these two values together. And is 12 plus 10, I'm going to ask myself, is it greater than 21? Well, I get 22 is greater than 21. That's true. So, yes, we can make a triangle from those side lengths. All right. In the next example, I'm going to add these two. 12 plus 16. Is that greater than the longest side, which is 25? And here I get 28 is greater than 25. That is true. So yes, I can make a triangle if I had different lengths like that. That's my dog in the background. All right, now do the same thing for number 3. We're going to add the other two. Those are the two shorter sides. Is 6 plus 7 greater than 13? And we get 13 is greater than 13. That's not true. 13 is equal to it, but it's not greater than. So what would happen there is that, imagine if this was 13, right? One piece was 7 and the other piece was 6. They would fall flat and just make an equal line. Right? In number 4, 7 plus 7, is it greater than 7? 14 is greater than 7. So yes, it is a triangle. Right, and then in number 5, I want to add these two guys together. 7 plus 9, is that greater than 17? and I get 16 is greater than 17, no, that is not a true statement. So no, I cannot make a triangle from those 3 side lengths. Okay, again, here would be the 17 side length, and then I have a 7, and I have a, well, maybe that make that a 9, that looks longer. And that's a 7, and there's going to be a gap. There's a small little piece that's missing that they would fall short, and they would actually fall on top. And it would be like, here's 9, here's 7, and there's even a hole. It doesn't even equal that bottom one. So that was the idea behind yesterday's lesson. So now, if you need to, have the sub pause the video if you've not been handed back this paper from yesterday. Okay, this is the last part here about to be or not to be a triangle. So in order to be a triangle, right, we talked about the angle measures. Angles add up to 180. And the side lengths, right, the 2 sides have to be greater than the longest side. So it's got to meet those requirements, okay? And so what I want you to do right now is I want you to pause the video and take a couple of minutes, and based on what we just saw, see if you want to go back and change any of your answers, okay? When you're ready, have the sub press play to reveal the correct answers, and you can check and correct your work. All right, let's check. So for the first one, they gave me side lengths, so I used the triangle inequality theorem, and it worked out. Remember, when you're given side lengths, to always highlight or circle the largest side and add the other 2. Right? In the second example, they gave me angle measures. When I added them up, they added up to 170. And that is not equal 180, so therefore it's not a triangle. We can't make it out of those angle measures. Right? The third example was side lengths. 12 feet was the longest side, and the other 2 were not big enough to reach to complete the triangle. In the fourth example, the angles all add up to 180, so that would work. And in the fifth example, the side lengths, the 2 shorter side lengths were equal to the third one, so it would just make a straight line. So it's not going to make a triangle. All right. And then on the last 3, so the 5, 5, 5, well, that's also known as an equilateral triangle. If they're all the same length, it'll always work. But here's our proof. It fits the triangle inequality theorem. Now, for the last 2, you had to check both, right? Because if we just look at the side lengths, those side lengths work. But we can't have those angle measures. Those angle measures don't work. So because both characteristics don't work, we can't make a triangle that fits those characteristics. Okay? And the same thing is true here. I could have stopped with just the side lengths and said, well, the side lengths don't work. I could have stopped right there, but I would also just check my angles. The angles worked, but the side lengths did not. So it's not a triangle. All right, I hope that clears up the triangle inequality theorem. The goal is still to have your quiz tomorrow. All right, the substitute is going to pass out to you your review sheet. This is all taken from your Delta Math, right? So it's starting with all the triangle stuff, which is the newest information, and then going through and just make sure that you're paying attention to what it's asking you to find. Solve for x, name the marked angle in 2 different ways, right? Again, here, notice that it's saying this is the marked angle, MRJ. So remember, interact with an MRJ. What angle is vertical to that? Okay, so watch out for your vocabulary. And when you're all done, you don't need an answer key from me to check your work. Okay, you can actually check your work by going home. You can scan it I've never had success with the QR code, but if you type in here to deltamath.com and type in this code, it's just exactly how it is, it will have all the questions and all the work done for you so you can see how to work it out. Again, this goes right along with your Delta Math, so if you've been practicing that, you should be all set. And I hope to be healthy enough to be back on Thursday for you guys. All right, take care.